Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working more on There's a Guild for That, a game about ganking mid and failing miserably. So, hello everyone. How are we all doing? Oi Noti, I have a different name. Hi. And whom? Hello, I would like to thank Purple Robed Wizard for following. Wink wink. That's a little... Oh, it's Archer. Hi, Archer. How are you? Welcome back. Hey, that's bumping my numbers up, so that's all that really matters. So, yes, welcome back. Hello. Bit of a hectic day today. I had to go downtown and buy a new phone charger because last night I'm like, I'm going to charge my phone. And it had a little, like, it had broken a little bit, but I'm like, it's fine. And then I was like looking at it, and then I'm like, oh, it's sparking. And I smell smoke. Maybe I shouldn't use this anymore. So I had to buy a $40 phone charger that I will use exactly once because my mom was like, hey, I have like 6 of them that fit perfectly. I'm like, oh, why didn't you tell me this earlier, even though I never told you this? He's like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. $40 phone charger. Yeah, because I'm like, hey, I am looking for, here's Manly, by the way, I'm looking for a phone charger, and the guy at the Verizon store is like, don't worry, we have 3 options. You can buy the cable for $40. You can buy the combination for $40, or you can buy our super deluxe mega charger for like $80. I'm like, What phone are you using? I am using a Motorola G6. I have had it since I was in college. It is a, let me see, it would be about an 8-year-old phone at this point. Yeah, it's going on about 8 years. It is an old phone, but it has served me very well, and I have no desire to get rid of it because it's my phone and I like my phone. Now mind you, I'm not like my mother. My mother has gone through about 5 phones. Because she broke a bunch of them. She like, they were just breaking. Like, anytime she dropped it, it would shatter into 1,000 pieces. Over my, like, how the fuck did she break them? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like, she would literally, like, break it, get a new phone, and then call me on the new phone being like, Notepad, I broke my phone. And then I would see it, and I'm not like talking about like it's just a minor like, oh, there's a crack in it, grow up. No, I'm talking about like the screen is shattered into 1,000 pieces. The phone, like, I don't know how she did it once, but it was like snapped in half. And I'm like, how? How did you do this? You were asking the same damn questions I was. I'm like, how in the God's holy name did you do this? All I have on my phone is I have exactly 2 cracks. I have a crack. Both of them are on the back of the phone. The first one was I didn't know my phone was on my bed when I was changing my sheets one day. So I like quickly rip off my blanket and I just see my phone careen off in the distance. And I'm like, oh no. It survived with a very minor little crack there. The second one was for a similar reason where I dropped it on the pavement. I was just like leaning over and it fell out of my pocket and it hit just right. Screen's perfectly fine, back of the phone's perfectly fine. It's still completely fine. Mind you, I don't even have like a cover, or not a cover, I don't have like a protector or anything on this. It's just the raw phone. And this thing has lasted so long. I'm an ardent Motorola customer now. Because this motherfucker has not broken, it has not stopped working. I am pretty sure that I can rig that thing up to do whatever I want it to. It has seen the war and it has come out stronger for it. Now, it's funny now because my mom has now, like, yeah, like, they have now. My mom has like this super industrial high tech, like, it's like $130 little like phone protector now, and that thing, like, you could beat someone to death with that thing, and it will not break your phone. And I am still waiting for the day my mother breaks her phone. I'm waiting for it. It'll be hilarious. Oh, hey, you should be aware that they are running multiple games of Cartel at Gen Con. Well, yeah, because Magpie has a lot of influence at Gen Con. Gen Con likes Magpie. Magpie pays a lot of money to go to Gen Con. Which, funny you bring up Gen Con, because, fun fact, everybody, Orc 2 dropped today. Yes, the second variation of the Orc license. Orc 2, the Orkening. Orc 2, more Orc. Have no fear, it's Bork time. Yeah, maybe someone at Magpie should have gone at that and like, yeah, maybe this one's on the no. Because it's written by the main, like, this is like the thing you gotta remember about Cartel. And this is like a thing I actually kind of, one of the big reasons I kept like bringing it up on in the video is it's made by Mark Diaz Truman. Mark Diaz Truman is the main guy behind Magpie. That's his company. And it's funny because I think he believes he can get away with it entirely because of this line right here. And I want everyone to know this line perfectly. Like this one right here. I want every single human being alive to fundamentally know that Cartel is what this fucking guy, who was born and raised in Arizona, mind you, thinks a Mexican-American RPG looks like. And that's Mexican people killing Mexican people in a Mexican city. It's hilarious. Like, I'm not gonna say that I'm like a golden child of, racial fucking equality here, but good God, I'm not even that racist. Yeah, it's one of those funny things. Orc 2 sounds like a sequel to the massage game, right? No, the Orc license, the ORC license. As you can kind of see here, this is the ORC license. You kind of see our here has not been released, draft is available. It's weird. Orc is a little bit odd, like right here, second draft of the Orc. This was pretty recent, by the way. Orc is very bizarre because this is pretty much what they were. This is what they were really hardcore promoting for a while, being like, hey, this is going to be the new thing. It's open RPG. We want people to like this. We want people to go here. They have some very bizarre caveats in this license. Mind you, it's better than the first draft. The first draft of this fucking thing was like, oh, hey, by the way, like, like everyone's supposed to like work together. It's the Warsaw Pact one, yes. Wait, Basic Fantasy from the Rune Quest guy? Yes, Chaosium actually hopped on the Orc thing pretty hard. Because the basic idea of Orc, this is the basic idea. It is a legal license that other people may freely use your thing as long as they credit you on various certain things, as long as they make notes of like who you're working with. Pretty much the best way to think about it is that it's their own version of Creative Commons. Isn't RuneQuest kind of like for Western fantasy? RuneQuest is just weird. RuneQuest is a special kind of very surreal weird. Kind of a little bit of everything. Very Celtic, if I would like kind of really compare it to anything. Yeah, now, the odd thing with Orc is that the original draft had wording effectively detailing the idea that, one, everybody was effectively the Warsaw Pact. We all were together, and anytime someone broke the NAP, everybody inside the pack would effectively have to sue them. It was really poorly worded in some aspects of it. It was like, cool, interesting notice, kind of weird, kind of not quite what people were doing, because one of the thing is they actually took out the idea that there was going to be a not a leader, but there wasn't going to be a curator anymore. That was like one of the big things, because rightfully so, by the way, people were a little bit concerned about the presence of the curator. I believe it was like Dora Law, where there was going to be a literal company run by Paizo, by the way, that was going to manage Orc, which obviously is a little bit sus, but hey, what do I know, right? Now, this led to an interesting bit. So, I'm not going to go over it right here. If that's kind of something people want, I might do a stream about it tomorrow. One of the things that are a little bit odd, this is something Wuso actually pointed out. We've got this. Granted Orc licenses, you must expressly condition on you, including the notice statement that describes subsections A to C, below reasonable manner based on mediums context Orc notice. The following statement designates the location in terms of this Orc license. This product is licensed under the Orc license located at the Library of Congress at TX00 and available online at various locations, including Azora Law, Gen Con, and others. That was one thing that Wuso pointed out was a little bit weird, because one of the main locations to actually find the license would actually be Gen Con. And that's important, mind you. That's fairly important to note for two reasons. This is a very weird thing to note. And this is like, as Wuso why would a convention be designated as repository for a license? Not to mention a license with the kind of products said convention is meant to promote. Effectively, what this is stating is that Gen Con would be one of the people who has access to the ORC license. Because they have access to the ORC license, they're going to be the one being able to distribute it, which is a little bit weird and a little bit sus and a little bit odd. Other things kind of that Wuso kind of pointed out were, wait, so Gen Con could make a game and sell games? No, that's the weird thing. Gen Con would just be able to distribute the license to everybody. The thing is, Gen Con is, by far, the largest kind of convention for tabletop gaming, by far. And it's a little bit weird that effectively a company that is designed to... Because Gen Con's a company, by the way. You know, Gen Con is a company designed to promote and sell these things, suddenly has access to the license for it. Because now, this seems to me anyway, and kind of seemed to Wuso as well, these guys now have a vested interest in ORC content over other content. The best way to think about it is that if you were going to let's say you were going to an anime convention, and at that anime convention, they specifically state they have a deal with Funimation. Specifically state they have a deal with Funimation. Nobody else. That immediately is like, wait a second, so I have a strange feeling that everyone's going to now suddenly be a thing here, other than, you know, being Paizo. I think there's a little bit, Pathfinder is the second biggest game. Let's call a spade here. Pathfinder is probably the second biggest game here in the West. Easy. First being 5e, Pathfinder, then you start dealing with things like Call of Cthulhu. That would be my big three. And it's one of those things like suddenly Gen Con now has a vested interest in promoting Orc content. If you have the Orc license, you might get a better deal or you might get priority over people. They can say that's not the case, however, that's still a little bit sussy-wussy. Azora Law makes sense because they're one of the main legal people behind it, however, it's a little bit odd. Now, this leads to some other odd bits with this license. I'm just going to go over this now. This is the termination and remedies section. As Wuso pointed out, your license to use Orc content will terminate automatically if you fail to comply within the terms and conditions of this Orc license. Your license will be reinstated effective at the date of termination if you cure such violation on going forward basis without the obligation to destroy inventory on hand within 60 days of your discovery of the violation, or licensor waive such violation in writing. No such termination shall affect, limit, or disrupt the rights of any licensor or downstream licensees of ORC content under ORC license. Only the licensor and the licensor's upstream licensors under the ORC license, which you will deem to be privately herewith, may bring enforcement actions against hereunder. Constitutes limitation of the licensor remedies respects to the license grant the ORC content hereunder. However, this ORC license either limits licensor's remedies in any way that respect the licensor's product identity, nor does the licensor's right to offer ORC content or product identity under separate terms and conditions. Or as Wuso really likes to put it, this is a private party, and we decide to lynch you or not for whatever reason. Whoever invited you in has no sway over we the many others unless that person has you under different terms, such as our dear leader Jason Todd Scott. What he's effectively saying in that section is, if we bring you, we can bring you in, but we are not responsible for it. Just unless you sign a better deal with other people. And it's like, wait, that's a little bit odd. That's a little bit strange. That's a little bit wonky. And it's like, I can kind of see what they're trying to prevent. I think they're trying to prevent like bigger companies getting bought and sold for things. Mostly when it comes to something like Magpie, for example. Because legally speaking, can you put Avatar under ORC? Technically, under this, you'll be able to. Even though it is not owned, it's not technically, or it wouldn't technically be correct because it's owned by someone else. Magpie doesn't own Avatar. They only own the rights to make tabletop games with it. Now, other odd bits includes this bit in which Wuso licensor hereby authorizes you to exercise the license right in all media and formats, whether now known or hereafter created, and to make technical modifications necessary to do so. Apparently, absolutely no way through any of the ORC content license do they ever forbid you to use this for non-fungible tokens, otherwise known as NFTs, or the funny monkeys. Technically, as long as they grant you the right to do such, you can totally just make NFTs or whatever the fuck you feel like, or anything like that, as long as you have the license right in all media and formats, whether known or hereafter created. I don't even believe they have an AI clause on there either. So technically, feed it into the machine and it'll do what you want. There's a couple other ones that are kind of odd that Wuso kind of points out, such as the idea of Gen Con. Technically, Gen Con is using various things to make sure that you get right licensing, mostly when it comes to advertisements. That's a fairly big thing. Other odd notes is that by sheer technicality, very sheer technicality, technically, the guy who owns Gen Con currently used to work for Wizards of the Coast, actually. He was one of the head guys of Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, so it all comes full circle, trust me. It all comes full circle. Life is a circle, and it is a noose. So yeah, that's kind of the basics of the orc stuff. I can go into deeper. I might put up a poll on the server later, being like, hey, do you want me to really like go over this and we can kind of talk about things? If not, that's fine. It's it's not a fun topic. Let's just say that. It's not like fun. It's just going to be like, yep, everything we love, everything we like about it, everything we like doing is fucked. Have fun. Da-da-da-da-da-da. This all feels sketchy and skirting legal lines. That's the best part, is that it's not skirting legal lines. They're just trying to make it so that it's either obtuse as possible, that no one can break it, but they have pretty much the legal right to fuck you over for breaking something that you possibly don't understand. If I want to be Oh, jeez. Oh, goodness. Not fun, but interesting. Something that is interesting and to be entertaining. Yeah, effectively, what they're trying to do is, how do I want to work properly? They're trying to make it so that they have a private club that they have a little bit more authority over, and that private club has a lot more power over everyone who joins the private club. Effectively, everyone's holding a gun to each other's temple, waiting for one person to pull the trigger and kill everybody. But no one's going to want to do that. But we're all going to be working together because we're a big, happy family. Always remember that. We're one big, happy family. And the worst part is, this is pretty simple stuff. Like, I think that's the funny part. It's like, it's pretty simple stuff. All that needs is one fucking spat between two members and all goes to shit. Yeah. Especially when you have people who are already trying to kind of, how do I want to... People are trying to deviate from work already. That's kind of like... Sounds like a multi-person suicide vest. What was the one that I saw? It was like Elf TTRPG license or something. There was one, there was one that it was like, oh, here's the orc license, but have no fear, we're instead going to be making a elf license, and it was going to be something completely different. It was going to be something completely different, but the exact same shit. But mind you, give me 1 second of, let me, I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier because I thought it was really funny. Like, hysterically funny. Like, I am literally LOLing tier funny. Where was it? Here's Project Black Flag, otherwise known as Tales of the Valiant. Yeah, right here. Tales of the Valiant's core fantasy role-playing game that builds on the Creative Commons foundation of 5th edition. Yes. This is Kobold Press. Kobold Press were like one of the first guys to really like hop out there and be like, hey, we're going to make our own game. Project Black Flag is going to be its own brand new, exciting game system, entirely divorced from 5e or whatever the fuck. They're not. Fun fact, Project Black Flag has been 5th edition. It's just 5th edition D&D. That's all it is. It's 5th edition. Oh no! See, and it's funny. I haven't even seen the page of this yet, but I can already tell you, if I do Control F 5th edition or 5e, we'll get a couple hits. Fun fact. It'll get its funding, and it'll be immediately forgotten, as this is quite literally, we want to use 5th edition, please let us use 5th edition, 5th edition, 5th edition, and I would not be surprised if they have the OGL in there somewhere. Because we can believe, we can really bereave, can't we, that people will be creative and the OGL crisis really woke people up. But the answer is they didn't wake anybody up, in fact. It did not wake a single soul up. Because remember, everyone, life is a circle, and it is a noose. Have fun! So as expected, people complained, did nothing change, and changed nothing. Exactly. All people got was now they are using the Creative Commons for this. Tales of the Valiant was already going to come out. I can guarantee you. They had already written this entire thing up, and it was going to be the same idea, and I've not even reading the Black Flag stuff. It's pretty much one-to-one to just D&D. Like, you can have a 5th edition character sheet and make a full character using just basic deductions. Isn't Cobalt Press kind of stacked? Can't they just push this one out without resorting to Kickstarter? That's how 95% of these companies function. This is not an actual Kickstarter. You gotta remember that, Lube. This is not an actual Kickstarter. This is pre-orders. Oh, but that's not what the spirit of Kickstarter is. No, this is pre-order. You pre-order from Kickstarter, you get your thing, you're good. Pretty much it allows them to get get their war chest, filling up before they start shipping it out. That's pretty much it. If you get a bunch of stretch rewards, that means you can use that newly found war chest to add more things to it. So everyone benefits. If more people pre-order, the more everyone gets. That is literally what you should. Anytime you see a company like Onyx Path, Cobalt Press, any of these bigger companies do that, what they're effectively asking is, if enough people pre-order our book, you will get special prizes. And now imagine Blizzard doing that, and the pure hatred that spawns from people. It's great. We can really believe tabletop games are vastly different from video. They're not. People don't want them to. Oh, I should actually talk about what I did. So a few things I did. Cleaned up some things. Obviously, I added some artwork. You kind of see here, I added quite a bit of artwork. This turned out completely unintentionally cool, so I'm keeping it. Oh, that looks kind of dumb, Notepad, and the legs are a little fucked up. Don't care. I think it looked cool. Added, this. You see this guy. Okay, that's a couple things. Oh, we haven't written the lore yet. We will get to the lore later. Now, one of the things is I actually did do what I said I was going to do when it comes to the stats. I'm leaving this here as a way to be like, if you just want a quick reference of what everything is, it's right here. However, here is like this is a more in-depth description of each. You want to know what your basic attack damage does? It's right here. You want to know what your defense does? It's right here. You want to know what essence is and how it works? It goes right here. Including things like, here's how health works in its entirety. One weird thing I did put in for health. So what's this game about? It's the MOBA TRPG. Mecha Medieval Centaur. What is this game? It's the MOBA TRPG. Yes, the multiplayer online battle arena. This is a commission project, as you can tell by the golden manly in the corner. Oh god! So we're doing our best to represent the MOBA experience in all its glory and all its pain. One of the big things I did with health is the MOBA TRPG, you mean 4th edition. You joke, feel good? I have actually borrowed some aspects from 4th edition. I'll explain that probably Tuesday. Not Tuesday, probably Wednesday a bit more. But one of the big ideas. Oh hey, Notepad, will the players get to respawn? I'm kind of debating on some of that. We might get to the first half of combat today. Because one of the ideas is, here in health, is technically, and when you reach 0 HP, you're not down. But every time you get hit, you're instead going to lock a trait. Your traits are fairly important. That's where all your powers come from. That's really kind of defines who you are. It's pretty much a very big part of you. You're going to lock a trait. And at most, you'll have 3 traits. So, okay, 3 traits, 3 hits, effectively after you hit 0 HP. But you won't die unless you are completely locked, all your traits are locked, and then you take damage. But you always have the option of being like, okay, I'm fucked up, I am going to collapse. I'm taking myself out of the fight, and now we need to win or I'm going to die. Healing is pretty easy to get. At the end of every fight, at the end of every major scene, or anything like that, you're going to get your vitality back. You're going to get a smidge of health back. Could be 1, it could be 7. You're just going to get something back. If you're able to rest in any context, you will restore all of your health. Doesn't matter, you will restore if you're able to rest. Which does also lead to the idea of if you do get medical treatment, you also fully heal. Which is kind of one of the benefits of, hey, I can pay someone to give me some medical treatment, or hey, I'm resting, and it's kind of the kind of thing there. Kind of like, why would I ever want to get medical treatment? It's, you're on a time limit. Resting is, you have to rest. You are not available for a time. Medical treatment, you're at least kind of like upright and standing. That's pretty much how health works. A little bit different than what I initially thought it was going to be. But I'm like, I think this works a little bit better. It's a little bit awkward at first, but it makes sense. I don't know how deep I want to go into the MOBA aspect. And what I mean by that is, this game, the best way to describe this game is not necessarily a MOBA TTRPG. That's not quite the correct way of describing it. The best way to describe this game would be the bullshit plot behind the MOBA TTRPG. You know, like League of Legends plot. You know, Dota's plot. You know, Paladin's lore. All of Paladin's lore. So a kitchen sink fantasy TRPG. Dota has a plot? Yes! League has a plot? Yes, they do have plots. Even down to things like Dawngate, even down to things like Gigantic. Pretty much what I do plan on doing for the lore is... hey, you have these super primal beings killing each other constantly, and throughout the cosmos, people get empowered to fight on their behalf. Pretty much every MOBA is legit, which has somewhat become a how do I want to word it? This has somewhat become a side goal of this particular project, is to not necessarily make it just fantasy or something. That's what we're going to be focusing on, but not strictly fantasy. If you want to, you can play Infinite Crisis. If you want to, play Gigantic. If you want to, you can League or anything else. That's kind of the idea. It's like how you are able to do other lore pieces with a similar idea, just kind of with it. Not necessarily a super generic RPG, but it's like, I wish I could play Gigantic. Yeah, no, I've been playing Gigantic actually, and if you look at the title card this particular stream, or if you go into the server, if you go into the server and go into cursed title cards, I actually inspired that particular one by Gigantic because I actually play Gigantic a lot. I like Gigantic. Brand X flavored fantasy. Gigantic, to give you an idea, this is Gigantic. It was kind of like a MOBA. It was kind of a MOBA, kind of a hero shooter, kind of. It's one of those things like, by sheer technicality, Gigantic was a lot of things before anything really popped off a lot. It had a very unique art style. I think that's what a lot of people remember about Gigantic, is that it had a very unique art style. It actually had a lot of cool mechanics, had a lot of cool ideas. It was just not very good. It was just mid. Yeah, remember they had a fraud. Yeah, the idea was that you had to take points. And if you took points, you could put a monster on the points and then level them out and level them up. And the entire idea is killing heroes, taking the points, or doing any of that, charged up your big guy, which would have them which would have them attack their big guy. Because your cores were like living entities. And those cores would actually like fight one another. And if an enemy got close to your core, they just laser beam them. It was pretty cool. Like, it had a lot of cool ideas. It was just really poorly monetized. It was really poorly, like, nobody knew what it was. And didn't it have it? It was, they announced it, they did the early access, then they put it like, oh, it's gonna be paid for, but then it was free, but then it wasn't free anymore. Then it got picked up by a Chinese company, and then it was kind of a mess. Pokemon hero shooter MOBA? No, it was not necessarily like you can like use monsters or anything like that. It was like you had to summon them on points, and that would be the benefit. It was odd. Again, it was a weird game that was a little bit too high concept for its own good. And it was kind of before we perfected and then promptly ruined the live service format thing. It was a complicated time. So I played, who did I play? I played I played the Cat Alchemist a lot. God, I can't remember his name. I played him a ton because he had this stupid AoE. He had a free heal effectively. He had fire bombs. He was stupid. I loved it. He was super fun. All Taitos though, all of the little bird swords guys, all of them deserve the rope. Every single one of them. I hated him because he would fly around the fucking map. Totally not a furry. He wasn't a furry. That was the thing. He was an actual dude. There were legit furries in that game. I just played a regular, like, old guy with a bunch of alchemical equipment. I'm like, hell yeah. Yep, MOBA player for real. I deserve the rope. How do we want to do this? Sven, that was it, yeah. There's a really static Anard. Old dude who fought with his small toolbox of medication and war crime juice. Yeah, pretty much. That was how he played. It was funny. Here's a really static Anard thrust into No, let's see. Whenever the heroes are not directly in combat, they are in the quote exploration. Oh, they are in let's see. Whenever the heroes are not directly in combat, they are instead in the exploration. They are in the exploration phase. Phase of the adventure. During this time, the what did I end up calling the game master? I remember I called him something weird because I'm me, and I always call them real. Guild master. During this time, the GM will actually no, an exploration phase of the adventure. From here, the heroes will need to uncover a variety of problems and solve mysteries they are involved with. They are involved with. I don't even want to this because it's kind of like the idea of like the exploration phase is the do shit that isn't strictly combat phase. Like, please do something here. From here, so it's like, how do I want to word this? Like, this is one of those interesting bits when it comes to like game design in general. It's like, how do you word the please do shit section of the game? Because like, what are we doing? Doing shit. I can't really, how do you want me to word this? You want me to tell you how to do this? Do you want me to like inform you what's going on? Like just do something. Because this is one of those fascinating parts where it's like not that complicated, relatively speaking. Alternate names for GM: the autism author, the story stallion, the dice dictator, or lore Luddite. Yeah, pretty much. See, this is one of those funny bits, because like if we really look at a lot of these games, like once you kind of get combat, like there isn't that much that needs to be done. Like, what are we doing? This. What do we do when we want to do something? You're gonna roll 2d10 plus a stat. That's all you gotta do. That's everything you need. Let's take a look. I mean, there's gotta be. Right now, I just need like something to be like, this is what you need to do. This is what you're actually in your brain space. This is what you actually need to kind of write in. That's why I'm like, what do I have to like really put here? One of the very few times you'll ever see me open this fucking game again. Like, it is funny though. Like, for example, this is Overlight. Overlight's a game we actually went over before. We've talked about Overlight before, Kaleidoscopic Adventures. I didn't much care for it. But to give you an idea, this is the table of contents. This is lore. All of this is just lore. This is how you make a character. Right down here. This is how you make a character. This is combat. Like this is everything not in combat. Then we get to all your superpowers that you get. Then it's the GM section, your bestiary, and then an adventure. It's like, oh, okay, maybe we look at Shadow the Demon Lord. Like even Shadow the Demon Lord is like, here's combat. We love combat. Boop 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 boop. And that's partially one of the reasons why I don't know Overlight. Well, here's the funny thing. This is actually one of the reasons why I purposely made the Mort Borgia jam the way it is. Because a lot of games have combat, or everything builds into combat, if that makes sense. Like a lot of parts of a game actually build solely into the idea that you're going to be going into combat here soon. Are you enjoying your combat? Have fun in combat, because you're going to go into combat. And the games that don't do that are either like, this is a 5-page exploration game about my gay depression. It's like, oh, this doesn't... wait a fucking moment. Hold up. Actually, okay, here's what we can do. I know what we gotta do. From here to here, we'll need to uncover a variety of problems, all mysteries they are involved with. Namely, how do we want to work this? Oh. You don't need to be. Oh, that's not good. Oh. 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 My futurist game features 20 pages of combat rules, 4 pages of enemies, and 1 page for everything else. The only relevant page will be the last one. More basic, here are multiple ways to use various skill checks and so on. Player versus object, player versus enemy. Yeah. I think like one of the big things with this particular game that I've already had to like very clearly state there is a very distinct split between things. So it's like, okay. Here's what we can do. Any player versus player stuff here? Not really. Like, truth be told. And if you do want to engage in player versus player stuff, it's just going to be combat. What I should do is, I know what we can do. We want to do, I know what we can do. The exploration phase of the adventure. The heroes will always be thrust into a situation that will demand their full set of skills, abilities and talents, to succeed. Destiny does not throw heroes into a situation where easy. Destiny does not throw heroes into a situation of peace and tranquility. So first things first, we're going to be talking about core. One of the most important facets of any world is control over cores. These objects are of vital importance of the world as they regulate magical energy, as they regulate primal energy fed upon by the entity the energy of the world. Cores can be anything. From ominous floating crystals in barren hellscapes to a respectable stone, to a respectable tower of progress in the heart of a city. These cores form the main conflict between the forces of I didn't even really give a name to the lore things yet, so right now I'm just going to say ordering. This is the main conflict between the forces of order, chaos. When first designing an adventure, create a core. Write in a core, and how every hero is invested in it in some way. Some of these cores may draw the heroes in for simple reasons of glory or but others hold more sentimental value. sentimental value. For example, a core is in the heart of a city, being partially used as the sole energy source of the entire being used as one of the main energy sources of the entire city. A hero may be one of the few scientists who understand its arcane wonder, or perhaps the daring one of the thieves who seeks to steal a sliver of it. When we do this, we understand, hey, these are cores. Cores are important. Understand this right away. Make everything work. These make everything kind of go. And we immediately follow up with see the heroes need. The core has been defined. No, actually, no. I don't even want to. Fuck. Because it's like, I know what I want to put here, but it's like, hey, this is how you fucking make rolls and do things. You know what word? How do I even want to word this? It's more like a jam section at this point. Actually, here's what we can scroll up here a little bit. During the exploration phase, the heroes will attempt to advance toward their goal. Whether this is tied directly to the their traits or relationship to the core, or their own personal problems. I'll need every tool at their disposal. Every scene, okay. Exploration. The exploration phase is broken down into scenes. Notably, broken down into scenes. These are snippets of the adventure that the heroes will take part in. Each scene will have the heroes attempt to overcome problems overcome issues, or actually to overcome their overcome overcome fuck actually every single have the heroes attempt to best the best opponents or see, each team will have the heroes attempt to beat best opponent. Best opponents attempt to do best opponents, or navigate through a series of arduous tasks. Arduous tasks. They will do this by making judgments, appropriate to the situation. They will do this by making situation. Let's see, when they hear it, the GM will announce the target number. Will announce the target number. And actually announce the TN. We'll announce the TN, and the hero will make their judgment. When during these make a judgment during calm scene. Heroes are free to make their judgments whenever is appropriate, without concern for time or position. Appropriate without concern for time or position. This allows time or position. This also allows the heroes to make their own calls on their various on what they plan on doing, announcing their intent, and having the G approve or modify the judgment they seek. A judgment they are seeking to make. For example, if a hero wants to research, let's see. For example, if hero wants to research the recent string of crimes in the city, they may announce, they may say they want to make a intelligence plus influence judgment to learn as much as they can from the local guards. Again, intelligence plus influence judgment to learn as much as they can from the local guards. If the GM feels that it's not fully appropriate, they may change the attribute or skill being used, but not both. Using the above example, if the GMs if the GM says dealing how the guards are corrupt dealing how the guards are corrupt and some dealing how the guards corrupt, the GM says that they may use they may use strength or vitality instead of their intelligence, to either impress or to either intimidate or impress rather than simply dig. Yeah. Hey, don't worry about it. Work is work. You know how it goes. Delicious. Water. Okay. We do this. We add an image right there. However, in stark contrast, stressful scenes has the heroes on the rope. On the ropes, where every second counts. Each of the heroes will act in each of the heroes and their enemies. Let's see. Each of the heroes and their enemies will act in order of their highest. Each of the heroes and their enemies will act in order of their highest speed. Value. Will act in descending order of the highest speed. Stat. When it is a hero's turn, they will make a choice of what they see, what they wish to do, make a judgment, and resolve the effects. Stressful scenes are triggered when there is something important at stake. Or when a noticeable risk involved. For example, escaping a collapsing building, or navigating through a treacherous jungle maze. Treacherous jungle maze may all be stressful scenes. We do this. The heroes will always have control on what they do, on what they wish to do, as they slowly inch for as they attempt to overcome the challenges in front of them. Certain stressful scenes may have a time limit. This is measured in rounds. The round begins at the highest speed stat and will ends when the slowest character finishes their action. If a bomb will go off in 3 rounds, the heroes have 3 full rounds to defuse it or escape. The heroes will have 3 full rounds. The quote timer ticks down at the end of a round. The timer ticks down at the end of a round, and when it reaches 0, disaster strikes. And when it reaches 0, the heroes must deal with the consequences unless it is nullified. Yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, do things here and you will go very far. So it's like all the face of the disaster is. During calm scenes, you have one thing. During stressful scenes, you kind of are worrying about another thing. But that's pretty much it. Give me a second, I need to call someone a little pissy bitch. There we go. Very important that I call someone a little piss boy. It's very, very essential. Let's see. So, start stressful scene, what time limit? Difficulty and you. All the way back up here real fast. We're going to add this here. Grab this, going to put this right here, just so I don't forget about it. So... when a... what am I trying to write down here? What am I actually trying to write? Absolutely fucking nothing. What? This is one of those funny bits where it's like, I really have nothing else to write down here because there doesn't really need to be anything. That's not really how this is supposed to be. Okay. I guess it would be appropriate to do something like this. Really cool. What is this? Actually, how do I want to? Okay. Actually, no. A hero is chosen for a variety. It's chosen for a variety of reasons. Could be the right person in the wrong place. Could be the right person in the wrong place, or a chosen destiny for one who has been preparing for that duty for their entire life. Heroes chosen for a variety of reasons. Or chosen destiny for those who are preparing for that duty their entire life. One of the most important aspects of the exploration phase that demands a section to itself is the idea of creative power. Similar to the previous section of heroics. Heroes are expected to be a cut above normal people. This extends to the various actions and choices they'll make. It extends to the various actions and choices they'll make through their adventure. You know, we've lost track of time when I start making the weird noises. Let's the various action choices they'll make. Context they deem to be let's see, heroes are free to use their abilities in whatever context they deem to be appropriate. Whether it's blasting a door open with a fireball, or moving unseen past guards with their high. If we up here. With their high skill, we need to rename that. I just realized I just called something skill twice. We do skill synonym. Do we have skills? Finesse. Finesse. I think that. That works a little better as well. With their high finesse, or moving unseen past guards with their high finesse. Whenever a hero is being creative with their abilities, narrations, or talents, they may crit. They may crit on a. They may crit on a. May crit on a. They may crit on a judgment. As dictated, a hero does not. Dictated, a hero does not gain bonuses for multiple crits. But can shield themselves from fumbles. Should they arise. Whenever a hero is exerting their creative power, they should be rewarded. They should be rewarded for their efforts if they during their creative power, they should be rewarded. Effort. Easy enough to understand. Pretty much this is a stunt system without calling it a stunt system. Because stunt systems are cool. People like stunts. People like being rewarded for being creative. Effectively, if you are role-playing, you're going to get something out of this. That's the idea of creative power. It's, hey, you are doing something that is beneficial and you're doing something cool, you're going to get rewarded for it. You're going to get something. Oh, I don't know. You're going to get something. I have no idea what's going on in my server, by the way. I know nothing good is going on. You want to know how I know nothing good is going on? I see Tufty in there. I see the guy from Dead Tree Studios, a noted brony. I see my good friend Cum King, otherwise known as Cole. I see Ethical, Isbarion, Pepper, no less. Pepper. When does anything good ever happen to the Discord? You're correct on that. But the thing that really ties it all together is the inclusion of Solid. That's how I know we're entering Kino territory. That's how I know. And my god, Pepper's posting porn in Schizoden. Pepper! Pepper! Oh, Lord Almighty. Oh my god. Pepper! And now they're all playing a game, and that's slightly concerning because I can't really I don't really know what they're doing, and that's the part that's worrying. See, that's the funny part, is I have genuinely no idea. If I'm to be very specific in Schizoden, looking at that, I can tell you one thing. That last one, I believe that is Pratt. I think that's Hugo. That might be Hugo Pratt. I can't confirm it though. I will literally need to yell at Pepper, being like, where did you get that last one? But I know Pepper doesn't actually watch the streams. That's the funny part. I know she doesn't. I think she's just in my server to shitpost. As with many, many of the people in my server. See, that's, I think, like the tragedy, but the funny part. Course, face the disaster, creative power. Yeah, that's really all we... I will probably end up having to add in something else here. I don't know what, though. It's like... Normally, I would call these exterior mechanics. And the idea of an exterior mechanic is pretty simple. It's things that make the game go. Easy to understand. What do I mean by that? It's, hey, we have a diplomacy mechanic. Hey, we have a magic system to worry. Hey, we have a thing over here to do a thing. That's pretty much all it is. I don't have any of those. I don't. Easy enough to understand. I don't have the need for a diplomacy mechanic because there's none of that in the game. It's not supposed to have that. It's supposed to be a game mimicking fucking MOBAs. And because it's about mimicking fucking MOBAs, it's I get to slowly debate on my like the inclusion of it. So it's like, how do I want to actually do this? I don't know. Yet again, I am confronted with the reality that I am just fucking stupid, and I just been kind of winging it on things. Oh, geez. I'm annoyed at God and time. Why do I have time powers? Why does time only have 12 hours or so a day? Okay, so, Fields of Glory, Fields of Glory. It's inevitable that the heroes will find themselves in the heat of battle, while conflict follows. Conflict follows them wherever they go, and should they attempt to avoid it, it'll try to find them. When it comes combat is a special occurrence. Combat occurs when there is combat is a type of stressful scene. The combat is a type of stressful scene that has the heroes and their enemies draw blades, unholster guns, and ready themselves for fight. So, how do I want to? The flow of war. So if we still when a battle breaks out, the heroes and their opponent. Let's see, the heroes and their opponents will make a 2d10 plus. We'll make a 2d10 plus speed judgment. A 2d10 plus speed judgment. Speed judgment called initiative. Actually, no. We can even do a 1d10 plus speed judgment. So if you have a lower speed, you can still get someone with a higher speed if they roll poorly, but it's a little bit less than normal. 1d10 plus speed judgment called initiative. When a hero called initiative. Initiative. From there, actions will take place in descending order by this initiative. Initiative. The highest will act first, and then end with the final character. Similar to rounds, similar to stressful scenes. Each character will have a turn. Will have a turn. This turn will have a turn. During their turn, a character is free to act as they see fit, allowing that as they fit, whether it's defending themselves or attacking others. When the final character has acted, the round will end, and everyone will re-roll initiative. This flow of combat is for two reasons. Momentum and reaction. Momentum and reactions. Actions and reaction. In action is when a hero when a character is acting on their turn. They are making on their turn. This allows them to move. Attack or various other. This allows them to move, attack, or various other feats or other. I'll say this allows them to move, attack, or An action is when a character is acting on their turn. An action is when the character is acting on their turn. Allows. Allows character to. How do I want? On what the plan is. However, a reaction takes place when a character. A reaction takes place when a character is being acted upon. And a reaction takes place when a character is being acted upon. They may being attacked, or being acted upon may allow the hero to make reactions that still costed them later. Still cost them. Okay, so we've got what the flow is, and then we go into action points. Every hero, and actually every character has a set of action points. Heroes will have. I'm like, give me a synopsis of the project. Spartan, this is the MOBA TTRPG, a game about ganking mid lane and failing. That's all I can really give you there, because that's literally what it is. It's a MOBA TRPG. But as I've stated before, it's not really a MOBA TRPG, it's more of the bullshit MOBA plot TTRPG. Because remember, every single one of those MOBAs actually have a plot going on behind the scenes. Yes, even Dota 2. Because do not forget about the Dota 2 plotline. That is very important, and people definitely remember. It's not important. Jungle invading. Invading jungle, have no fear. You better run through the jungle. Run through the jungle. Yeah, sorry, no Rising Storm 2 content on here yet. Yeah, Dawngate was one that was like, we want to make the story the big deal. Yeah, we love story. Story's the big deal. Yeah. That didn't do very well. Dawngate was kind of weird. I know Gigantic tried to do the lore thing pretty heavily. That didn't really pan out very well. Usually the ones that do have like, oh wow, look, the lore is really good, is completely unimportant to the actual game. People still have to explain the League of Legends lore to me. The thing is, League of Legends lore means absolutely nothing. That's the funny part. And Dota is an allegory for the Spanish conquest of the Americas. Like, I want everyone to, like, if we do like League of Legends lore, like let's do League of Legends lore. Like, they try to make it out to be like, oh cool, look at all the lore. You want to talk about one of these lore? Let's learn about I don't know any of these characters. Let's learn about Blitzcrank. You know, like Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is from Zaun. He's related to Orianna. He's also related to Victor. Technically, he has a short story. Various art gallery pieces about him. And if we go to read his biography, this is his full biography. And if you really want to learn more about the lore of League of Legends, you're going to have to do every single one of these. And don't forget about the comics. The extensive amounts of comics. Or the various alt-universes, such as the Star Guardians. You remember the Star Guardians, right? Star Guardians. Or Odyssey. You know, this one. I don't know what this is, but it's about superheroes, I think. Don't worry about it. Ta-da! This one's here. How about the KDA girls? You know, the one where there's a lot of porn about them. Like just an absurd amount of pornography. He has comics? Yes. Yeah, no, these are our various characters of KDA. We've got Ari, who's a fox, Evelyn, who I've noticed none of, like, Akali is 5'3". She is 5'3", by the way. Like, she is a goddamn, to me anyway. But yeah, like, just to give you an idea, like, League of Legends lore is pretty extensive, and it means absolutely nothing, mind you. It means absolutely nothing to anything related to the game. Like, that's the funny part. It means nothing. And you may say, wait a second, Notepad, of course it does. It means a lot to the lore, because the lore is important. It doesn't mean anything. Don't lie to yourself. Don't Don't you lie to me, and I won't lie to you. We don't do that here. We're all friendly with each other. That's why everyone starts looking more and more Chinese over time. Ni hao, wo ya heng gao xing bing chiling. I remember being arguing with Zoomer about character being bland crap. He was infatuated with Braum. Isn't 5-3 like, how the fuck is League big in China? Because you have to remember, Riot is owned by Tencent. Riot is directly owned by Tencent. You gotta remember that, Lubu. And I'm not saying, oh, they have like a 40% stake like Tencent does have in Epic. No, I mean, Tencent bought the entirety of Riot Games. Valorant. Let me think of all the Riot games. There's Valorant. There is you're thinking of New World. Tencent owns a lot of things. Like, I don't think people quite understand. Like, if I actually go to like Tencent games, like if we go, this is Tencent. Like, this is the actual company of Tencent here. Just to kind of give you a like idea of like what they own, what Tencent owns. Let me see if I can find like, can I find a good like definitive list of like every single thing that Tencent owns? Because Tencent's a huge fucking company. Okay, foreign investments. They own Funcom. They own Leo, Chinese video game holding company. They owned Riot Games 100%. They own Shark Mob. They own Sumo Group. They own Turtle Rock Studios 100%. Yes, Turtle Rock Studios. No. They own Wake Up Interactive. They own Fulcrum Games. They own 84% of Supercell. 80% of Grinding Gear Games. 40% of Epic Games. They own also a majority, we don't know how much, just a majority of Fat Shark, Mini Clip, Tequila Works, Clay Entertainment, Jaeger's another one that they own a lot of. Again, we don't know how much that majority is, all we know that it is majority. They also have investment in Discord, Roblox, Platinum Games, and a bunch of other things. Like, even Katakawa, they own like at least 6% as of 2021. Ubisoft, they own about 10% of Ubisoft. That's the thing. From Software, they own over 15% of From Software. Bloober Team, 22%. Don't Nod, I don't know, fuck they are, they sound familiar. Like, just to kind of give you an idea of like, they own a lot of things. And it's not like just one little thing. No. When you hear about like, oh, Tencent runs MMOs into the ground, they hand them off always to Funcom. Funcom is the one that runs games in the ground. Or Turtle Rock Studios runs things into the ground. Riot Games runs things into the ground. Because if we go down to Riot Games here, you see right here, over 4,500 4,500 employees, mind you. They've got League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, Wild Rift, which is the mobile version of the game, mind you. Mobile version of the game. Legends of Runeterra, which is pretty much just a card game. You have Valorant. That's another thing of money to get kind of worried about. You've also got the Ruined King game. Hextech Mayhem, that's another game entirely, which is just, I believe, like Rocket Jump or whatever. Yeah, just to kind of give you like an idea, Tencent owns a shit ton of things. Like a weird amount. Oh yeah, no, they make their own. They make their own game. Yeah, like, you gotta remember, Tencent makes their own games. Not many of them, but they do make their own games. Like, Tencent Games has a full different division. To give you an idea, pretty much everything, fun fact, this is actually a big thing in China. If I want to publish my game in, say, China, what I need to do is I go to a Chinese company, they sponsor it, and then they will release it. I physically cannot release my own game in China without their backing. And without them giving, effectively me giving them my source code as well, which is a big thing. But as you kind of see here, you see Call of Duty Mobile, Crossfire, which is a big thing in Japan. You've probably seen a few things about Crossfire before. They tried to put it over here, didn't do very well. They do a lot of mobile games, but one of the bigger ones is, one, you see PUBG Mobile over there. PUBG Mobile prints fucking money, by the way. Fucking prints it. If we want to go a little bit specific, this is Honor of Kings. Well, let's go to what's Honor of Kings, you may ask. Honor of Kings is Chinese League of Legends. Mobile League of Legends with microtransactions. And it is the most played video game in the world. It has made more money than God. It is the most, profitable game probably ever. Second only to something like GTA 5. And even that's not really that much in comparison. When people talk about, oh, the mobile game market, they really talk about the Asian mobile market. Because this shit prints fucking money, baby. See this shit right here? This shit prints money! Money! They love that stuff. They love it. It's great. So yeah. Yeah, way more profitable than 6 or 7 releases of Skyrim. Because, one of the big things you also see with a lot of, things when it comes to, mobile games. Because, think about it like this. If I buy Skyrim, let's be honest with ourselves, it's probably going to be about $30. $30-$40. That will print more money? Yes. Oh god, what was that? Wuso, help me out here. They made an Overwatch knockoff. It's a Overwatch knockoff. Where was it? Yeah, they made a yeah, NetEase. Not NetEase, I can't remember. There's effectively another game that when Overwatch effectively came out, a Chinese company quite literally just made their own version of it because they could do that. And if you look hard enough, you can pretty easily find, oh, it's owned by a Tencent subsidiary that they just owned a lot of it. And it's like, oh, okay. And that's just how they do business over there. And that's what they do. Paladins, thank you very much. Paladins is also, I believe, owned by Tencent. If I want to be a little bit more precise about things, if we do Evil Mojo Games, because if we go to Evil Mojo Games, these guys are owned by Hi-Res Studios. Yeah, these guys are opened by Hi-Res Studio in Georgia. We go here. I believe they get money from a couple different things. This is Hi-Res Studios is weird. If you ever want something who owns it, technically it's private. I believe they get money from something. I can't remember what it is. That there is a connection that people actually commonly, do things with. To give you an idea, Global Agenda's dead. Completely fucking dead. Tribes Ascend, they murdered it with a fucking tire iron. Smite has the V Shoujo packs now. No one really played that. No one really played that. No one really played Actually, I should say Paladin Strike did do very well, but not for very long. Paladins is still going. Realm Royale doesn't want to die. Rogue Company wasn't doing too hot. No one knows what the fuck Divine Knockout. Yeah. Yeah, that is, and remember, they're recognized as top 30 video game developer because they just don't have a lot of money. It's great. I love the United Nations. People get mad when they say creativity is dead in China. Well, here's the thing. This is the thing about China. I'm not a tanky, but it is corporate interest in China is we want to get as much shit as possible to do it because that's what people like. They want Chinese things that are like American things, or they want Chinese things that are like other things. That's pretty simple for China. That's what all they want. They pretty much want to say, fuck you, this is our thing now. There is creativity in China. There's actually quite a bit of creativity in China. It's the big things, though, the things that really go big, you need corporate backing, and to get corporate backing, you need a lot more guarantee return. And it's like, oh, well, it's kind of a bummer, it kind of sucks, but it's like, hey, that's it for us, too. How many open world survival craft 'em ups have we seen? How many live services? It's the same shit to them. Well, yeah, because they're inundated with other shit. That's like one of the big things with like the mobile market there. Mobile market is big. If you don't have a mobile version of your game, it's probably not going to do as well. Because a shit ton of people in China is like anything anything you make has to be for mobile devices. Because mobile devices are huge. And if you gotta use that, you gotta use your your fucking phone to do things. If it's not really like an iOS thing, it's probably not going to do as well. If you really look at the number of gamers with a full rig or something, they're not as high, but there are people probably in China right now that say they are a hardcore gamer who have never owned a PC. And if they do have one, it's a shitty netbook they use for school or college, or school or work or whatever. But they have a $1,000 super phone, so they can run all their favorite games right on there. And it's like, oh, well, no shit. Like, people are going to want to do that. And if you're inundated with a shit ton of these, like, different gacha games, if there's 1,000 different options, you can only really play, there's only so many hours in the day. And if there's only so many hours in the day, like, you can't play every game at all, so it's kind of like, well, you're going to go over the ones that are popular. Well, PUBG is popular. It's got the most number of people on it, so we're going to go play PUBG. Hey, this game has a bunch of players on it. I'm going to go play that. Hey, I like Paladin. I like Overwatch, so I'm going to play this game that's definitely not Overwatch. For instance, Wujinshi anime series that is unironically like Gantz except good and wholesome. Well, yeah, it's the same thing here. It's like, oh, we're like Dark Souls, but we're like, people love shorthand. This isn't like a uniquely Chinese thing, by the way. People love shorthands. It's really hard to pitch something new to people. And we mean like, well, us gamers, we're unique. We are not. People don't want to sell to us. That's the beautiful thing. The gamers aren't really a good market to actually sell anything to. This is why we've like never seen any like strong competition to Paradox over the years. One of the main reasons is who's going to buy Paradox games? People who play Paradox games. And who the fuck is going to want to go against them, because you always have to compete with Paradox. If you really look at any of these games that are like directly competing with Paradox, or like, oh, we're making our own game like this or whatever, what they usually do is have a gimmick. Oh, and they can usually say, oh, it's Crusader Kings, but you're an ancient demigod. Hey, it's your Crusader Kings. Or except this. Oh, it's like Europa Universalis except this. They need the but this to get people in, but you can't really. To be fair, there's not a big community of us over the Paradox game community. We're kind of a niche, and that's one of the reasons why Paradox is allowed to milk us for like $70 worth of DLC every year. Fuck you, Paradox. I just want to play your fucking game. Let me see. What did I end up putting in? I put absolutely nothing in for action. I have to write this one. Okay, I think I know how I want to do this. So, every character has a set of action points. Every character has a set of action points. Action points to use during combat. Well, actually, a character's AP will recover by X at the end of the round, but at the end of the round, depending on the difficulty of the enemy. Actually, each hero will have five action points to use during a combat round, which they will fully recover at the end of the round. Used during the round, which they will fully recover at the end of. Action points are used. Let's see. Action points are used when performing any action, including let's see. Action points are used when performing anything, including actions and reactions. When a hero uses an AP, it is lost until it is consumed. Until the let's see. The hero runs out of AP. When the hero runs out of AP, they may only perform a. They cannot act. They cannot act and will have to and shoulder the consequences. They cannot act and will have to shoulder the consequences. Will have to shoulder the burden. Now laid on them. However, recover. There is. Hero runs out of AP. They cannot act for the remainder of the round, but may be acted upon. A hero without AP is vulnerable to enemies as they can freely assault them. Without issue. However, without issue. Larger and stronger enemies. Enemies may possess additional action points. They possess additional or fewer action points than the heroes, forcing allowing the heroes the opportunity to exploit the weaknesses of their foes, as well as plan around the wrath of a powerful foe. There we go. So it's kind of like, please use E when during certain situations. Sorry if I'm not responding to anything right now. A hero will recover all of their AP at the end of the round unless they are under certain status conditions. If a hero is vulnerable, if a hero is if a hero is vulnerable, from damage, they will only recover half of. They will only recover 3 of their AP. Actually, they'll only recover a total of 3 AP. Total of 3 AP. Yeah. Pretty much, if you're wounded, the idea is being like, if you're wounded, you're not really going to get anything more. Let's see, if hero falls in combat, they forfeit all of their current A. Let's see, if hero chooses to falls in combat, they forfeit all of their current AP and do not gain. So pretty much is, hey, you're not getting AP, you don't know. All right. Oh no. Ah, there we go. Scratching. Oh goodness. Delicious water. Let's see. Okay, we've got action point. We have the flow. We have action. You need to then. Okay, new plan. I need to actually just. So, how is combat going to be organized here? So, first things first. Big thing we need to organize. How we're going to structure this is going to be, we're going to talk about our basic. We're going to talk about actions. Then we're going to talk about reaction. Then we're going to probably talk about status conditions. Talk about actions, reactions, status conditions. talking about morale and routing. Actions, reactions, status conditions, morale and routing. So it's kind of like the idea of like, hey, your morale is broken. It's kind of like if you're clearly winning the fight, you don't need to kill every single enemy. They're going to run away. If like you've killed the boss, you don't need to fight them anymore, kind of thing. Like they're just going to run. The oh no, I don't want to die. All my friends are dead. Ow. Ugh. Paradox. Paradox is like one of those companies like I have genuinely like no idea why people like keep in this. It baffles my bongos. So actions, reactions, status conditions, morale and routing. Then talk about actions, reactions, status conditions, morale and routing. What else do we really need? I do not know. Oof, guys. Oh, zowie, my bones. Okay. I think that's really all we need to talk about. Because then we go immediately into equipment. Which we're just going to... Trinkets are going to be pretty easy because all trinkets are going to be... There's going to be... I'm probably going to have to write out probably about like... I'm looking at about 30. Actually, if we want to be a little bit more conservative, let's say 20 trinkets. All interacting with various parts of it. But each trinket's going to have 3 tiers. That's going to be kind of the idea. So we have our equipment. Which is going to feed into our trinkets, which is going to be the trinket system. That's not going to be too difficult to... H. So if we do this... Technically, if we want to be precise about things, we do, we can add in the MOBA Combat Arena optional rule, make it a little bit different. No, it's nostalgia. I think it's a combination of things like nostalgia. It's a little bit of nostalgia. It's a little bit of, because like you gotta remember something like, let's say for example, like let's say like Hearts of Iron 4. Like Hearts of Iron 4. This game came out in like 2016. Yeah, this game came out 2016. This game is 7 years old, effectively. 7 years old. When did the EU4? EU4 came out in 2013. It is over a decade old at this point. A decade old. And that's kind of weird if you really think about it. If you're really honest to God, think about it. That game is almost over a decade old. Even like Crusader Kings 3. I did not realize Crusader Kings 3, this game, right here, this game came out, this game came out in 2020. This game is 3 years old. It's coming on effectively 2 years old at this point. I'm actually going about 3 years old now. This game is 3 years fucking old. It did not occur to me. And they're still making fucking DLC for all of this shit. Don't you worry. To buy all of the DLC for EU4, it costs you $250. Mind you, $250 fucking dollars to buy all of the DLC. Now, you might be like, oh, well, you just need the starter pack, right? Or the Empire bundle for $133, or the Ultimate bundle for $207. Only normally $450. Like, there's a little bit of nostalgia, because think about it, like, 5 years ago, people thought things were very different. 5 years ago was 15. That's why I was thinking, like, I'll get on Vicky 3 quickly, and then I just didn't, because Vicky 3 looked terrible. Like, I'm like, oh boy, Vicky 3 looks like shit, and I don't want to play it. Yeah, okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call it here for today, actually. A little bit, I started a little bit late, which is weird, but if we really look at things, what I'm going to do is on Wednesday, we're going to finish combat. We're going to just do the entirety of combat. I do plan on getting all of the lore done. Well, we're going to get the lore done, we're going to get combat done. Don't like writing lore, as everyone should know by now. Lore is my least favorite thing to do, because lore sucks. Because it's like, oh boy, it's time for lore. And if we want to be a little bit precise, you gotta say over here. Double check here. But yeah, we're at only about 18-ish pages. Probably by the time things like lore get put in, we'll be at about 25. Combat's gonna be a little bit more. Like, this is one of those games where there just isn't a lot to worry about. I think we're going to get a few tables when it comes to starting it, when it comes to abilities. Don't get me wrong, we'll see quite a few of these. But it's like, oh. Lore is just annoying for me to write. I just don't like writing lore. I've talked to people about this. Lore, to me, I just don't get fascinated by lore. I never have been. It just doesn't activate any of neurons in my brain. It's more of a I don't know, it's more of a means to an end for me, and because it's that means to an end, I get a little bit like, well, this is all I really need to do, and that's kind of like but I'll call it there. Most likely I will, in the process of A to B, I will see about maybe adding some more here for exploration. I have a few ideas, but I don't know what else to add here. This is the thing. I'm like, yeah, the exploration phase. It's very important. But this is one of those phases of the games in which it's very difficult for me to say, play the fucking game. Because that's what it is. What do we need to do here? Play the fucking games. Like, oh, well, I don't know how. Play the fucking game. I've explained to you how to play the game. You know how to do this. You roll 2d10, you add some fucking numbers, and that's it. Ta-da! You did it! Yay! Like, it was just like, what do you add here? So I'll mull on that. Maybe there's something I can add. Maybe I won't add something. But yeah, Godspeed. Good luck. I will see you all on Wednesday, maybe tomorrow. I might go over the Orc license tomorrow. I might not. Depends on the tomorrow, I'm going to be working on a Table Derby 2 video. In Table Derby 2, it's going to go into Wednesday, we're going to be doing combat. Kind of depends on what's going to go on tomorrow. We'll kind of play that by ear. I might stream if we get it done early. I might not. Kind of depends. So, Godspeed. Good luck. You know the rest.